Look, if you've got $1,000 just sitting in the bank right now and you have absolutely no idea what to do with it, I hear ya. I've been there. Today, we're unpacking a real-world blueprint for investing your very first $1,000 in 2026. And no, we are not talking about gambling, and we're definitely not talking about some sketchy get-rich-quick scheme. We're going to dive into proven strategies that actual financial advisors use and break them down so clearly that you can literally start building your wealth today.
All right, so here's our roadmap for today. First, what to do before you invest. Then, 5 ways to invest. Next, we'll cover a simple $1,000 plan, followed by beginner mistakes to avoid, and wrap up with exact action steps.
Okay, Section 1. Before you invest anything, we've got a few absolutely crucial questions to answer first.
Now, this might sound completely counterintuitive, right? You're here to learn how to invest. But the very first question you have to ask yourself is, do you have high-interest debt? If you're carrying credit card debt at, say, 20 to 29% interest, paying that off first is absolutely hands down your best investment. Let me explain why. No stock market investment is going to reliably return 20% or more year after year. If you've got $1,000 sitting in debt at a 24% annual rate, it's literally costing you $240 a year just to exist. Escaping that trap is step 1.
So, step 1, you got to clear any bad debt, basically anything with an interest rate over 7%. Second, secure an emergency fund. That means stashing 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account. Think about it. If your car breaks down next month and you don't have that cash, you might be forced to sell your brand new investments at a loss just to cover the repair. Not ideal. Third, we need to verify you won't actually touch this specific $1,000 for at least 3 to 5 years. The stock market is kind of like a roller coaster, so we're absolutely playing the long game here. Moving on to Section 2, 5 ways to invest. Let's look at the best vehicles for your money in 2026.
All right, the number one choice for most beginners is a Roth IRA. Now, IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account, and Roth just means you're investing after-tax dollars. The absolute magic of this account is that your money grows 100% tax-free. Seriously, you pay 0 taxes when you're withdrawn in retirement. And inside this account, you don't need to be some sort of stock-picking genius. You just buy simple index funds, like the S&P 500. Doing that means you automatically own a tiny slice of the 500 largest U.S. companies. Think Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, the whole shebang, all in one basket.
Okay, look at this math, because this absolutely blew my mind. If you invest that $1,000 at age 25, and it grows at the historical stock market average of around 10% annually, it becomes over $17,000 by the time you hit age 65. And the most incredible part? Because it's sitting in a Roth IRA, you pay absolutely 0 taxes on that massive $16,000 gain. It's honestly one of the most powerful wealth-building tools available to us.
Now, you might be wondering, how does a Roth IRA compare to a regular brokerage account? Well, a regular brokerage account gives you ultimate flexibility. There are no yearly contribution limits, unlike the $7,000 limit on a Roth, and you can withdraw your money anytime before retirement. But there's a catch. You will pay capital gains taxes when you sell those investments. So unless you're, saving for a house down payment in 5 years, the tax-free magic of the Roth usually wins out for beginners. Option 3 for your money is a high-yield savings account, or HYSA. Top accounts right now are offering anywhere from 4.5 to 5.2% APY. Now, I know a 5% return might not sound thrilling compared to the stock market, but contrast that with a traditional bank savings rate of 0.01%. That's practically insulting. A high SA is a massive, secure upgrade. It's risk-free, it's FDIC insured, making it literally the perfect place to park your emergency fund. If you're looking for extreme safety, option 4 covers Treasury bonds and I-bonds. When you buy these, you're essentially giving a loan to the U.S. government in exchange for interest. They get heavily overlooked by beginners because, frankly, they aren't very exciting, but they act as a rock-solid way to beat inflation without any stock market risk whatsoever. Short-term Treasury bills are currently yielding around 4 to 5%, and you can buy them directly from the government with 0 fees. Now, here's our 5th option, and honestly, it's arguably the most underrated: investing in yourself. Just think about it. If you spend your $1,000 on a course or a certification, maybe getting a Google certificate in data analytics, or securing your real estate license, and that skill bumps your salary by $10,000 a year, that yields a staggering 900% return on your investment. Especially in your 20s and 30s, knowledge and skills often compound way, way faster than any index fund ever could. Which brings us to Section 3. the simple $1,000 plan. Let's look at a concrete, low-risk, high-reward approach.
So, how do we actually split this money up? This blueprint suggests an exact breakdown for a complete beginner, assuming you've already got your basic emergency funds sorted out. Here it is. Put $700 into a Roth IRA and invest it in an S&P 500 index fund to get that tax-free compounding started. Then keep a $200 cushion in a high-yield savings account just to give yourself a little extra flexibility and peace of mind. Finally, take that remaining $100 and invest it into a learning resource. It could be a book, a course, or a workshop on finance or a career skill. It's really the perfect balance of long-term growth, short-term safety, and personal development.
All right, moving on to Section 4, beginner mistakes to avoid. Let's make sure you don't lose thousands of dollars making rookie errors. First things first, stop waiting for the perfect time to invest. Time in the market always beats timing the market. Second, picking individual stocks, just skip it for now. Seriously, even 90% of the pros fail to beat a simple index fund over 15 years. Third, never panic sell during a normal market dip. The market drops 10% roughly every other year. It's completely normal and it always recovers. Fourth, don't ignore fees, which we'll dive into in just a second. And fifth, never think $1,000 is too small to matter. Every single wealthy investor started with their first 1,000.
I really want to draw your attention to that fourth mistake about fees. I know, it sounds incredibly boring, but look at this math. If you choose a mutual fund with a 1% annual fee, instead of an index fund with a tiny 0.03% fee, that seemingly small difference can literally drain $11,000 from your long-term returns over 30 years. That is $11,000 of your hard-earned money paying for some fund manager's vacation instead of staying in your account. So always check the expense ratio before you buy a fund and try to keep it under 0.10%.
And finally, Section 5, your next action steps. Here's exactly what you need to do right now, today.
First, open a free account online with a reputable broker like Fidelity or Schwab. It literally takes 10 minutes. Next, set up your Roth IRA and actually transfer that $1,000 in to buy an S&P 500 index fund like VOO or FXAIX. Then comes the real secret sauce, automate it. Set up automatic monthly contributions. Even an extra $50 a month will build incredible wealth over time. And finally, whatever you do, don't check your account every single day. Just let compound interest work its magic quietly in the background. We've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, but it all comes down to action. Every wealthy investor started with their very first $1,000. It's the hardest hurdle to clear, for sure. So if your money is just sitting there, losing value to inflation today, the real question is, what's stopping you from taking control and putting it to work right now? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.